As I continued to fight in these wars, I slowly had to leave my humanity.
I felt nothing all the time. Feeling nothing was the best that I had felt in years.
I didn't feel any aggression towards Muslims in Afghanistan. But when we got back over here, things changed, you know.
3 new documentaries by 3 young combat vets turned filmmakers.
I hope they could view me as being as honest as possible.
It's hard to tell somebody, you know, that has never been there what it's like.
People kind of like forgotten all these things of the issues that veterans deal with coming back home.
There is no filter between their experience and what they communicate in the films they make.
Veteran filmmaker Richard Ray Paris guided the vets and served as co-executive producer of the project called Operation In Their Boots.
My warrior self was slipping away, and I was trying so desperately to hold on to it because I thought that was the only person I am.
What I wanted to show was not what people think of him, but what he's really going through.
A veteran of combat in both Afghanistan and Iraq, Victor Manzano chose to profile the inner life of famed fellow Marine Rudy Reyes, who HBO had portray himself in the miniseries Generation Kill.
People look at him as like the real deal Rambo. It's kind of what he's known for.
Over there, it's a really glorious life, you know.
He's got this sort of say armor on the outside, but in the inside, he's a very hurt person.
I was insulated by PTSD. I wasn't dealing with this real world at all.
PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, brought back from combat by thousands of vets, even Rudy, even Victor.
I kind of, through Rudy, wanted to also share my story. And so this is kind of how we clicked up, and it's kind of how it all worked out.
Making The Way of the Warrior proved therapeutic for both.
It was the first time since I've been out that I actually went deep into thought about all my experiences in combat and all the things that we've seen and done, and it was actually kind of relieving, you know, to do that.
What was powerful about Victor's film, The Way of the Warrior, was it was a film to some extent about irony, about somebody who looked great from the outside but was suffering deeply from the inside.
Personally, myself, I was fortunate enough that I didn't go through a lot of the things that the people in my film went through.
Army Communications Sergeant Tristan Dyer, whose unit escorted convoys in Iraq, had friends who did have it rough after returning from combat, including one high school classmate.
I have no idea, you know, what he was going through, you know, in his head, but, you know, he passed away from drug overdose, so that was kind of why I wanted to make the film. Enduring Erebus is the story of 4 veterans who, in order to deal with their PTSD, they turn to alcohol or substance abuse after being home. It's narrated by them, you only hear their voices, and then it's illustrated with stop-motion animation.
Guilt, shame,
at times I think I'm suicidal.
Eating me up inside.
He says, you have PTSD.
He came up with a very novel approach to how to visualize an intense story.
I wanted the visuals to be about mood and not literal.
If you saw what I saw, you'd probably be the same way.
It was rough at first, sure.
Kyle Hartnett returned from combat duty as a paratrooper with the legendary 82nd Airborne. He brought with him the seeds of resentment that so few back home seem to understand.
I knew guys that died, you know what I mean, and these people just don't care, you know, so I was angry about that, but I think it's on the person, it's on the veteran themselves. I think you have to let go. You can't force everybody else to care.
Hartnett went to college and studied filmmaking. He was applying to In Their Boots when Fort Hood was attacked from within by an Army major, an American-born Muslim, a turn of events Hartnett struggled to reconcile.
Why there was a Muslim in the U.S. military in the first place. It's something that I never had even thought to think about.
I was sitting down with Kyle in a story session and really saying, but Kyle, why do you want to tell this story? Is there something that happened?
Then he remembered a fleeting moment in an airport when a Muslim in full religious attire sat down next to him, and Hartnett was stunned by the aggression he suddenly felt and had to struggle to overcome. Telling it became the prologue to his film.
It bothered me. It bothered me that I was having this visceral reaction to somebody I didn't know.
Grappling with that aggression. That's what the story's about.
The making of No Religious Preference became a personal journey for understanding.
I think the best cure for ignorance is knowledge, so I thought the best way for me to help other guys that have the same sort of bigoted attitude towards this particular group, Muslims, was to make a documentary.
Kyle's journey led to Dearborn, Michigan, home to a veterans organization called the Association of Patriotic Arab Americans.
This is where
he visited
you
with
can
an
wind
Arab
up anywhere,
American
so
DJ
I
who
wound up
served
here
in
in
the
Detroit,
Marines.
but
He marched with the Arab American veterans in a Memorial Day parade.
I would never have been able to make this sort of paradigm shift in the way I thought if I didn't go and see a place like Dearborn.
Is there a political message there too?
No, I hate politics. But I can tell you this, obviously politics has keyed in on Muslims in particular, but I'd like to come at it from more of, and I hope we did come at it from more of like a humanist approach.
You feel that raw, authentic, intense emotional experience. That's what's unique about these films and this program.
The films of Kyle, Tristan, Victor, and 2 other vets comprise the final season of Operation in Their Boots, which has been funded by a grant from the Iraq-Afghanistan Deployment Impact Fund. The films have been shown at various festivals and can be viewed online. Full screenings on TV have yet to be worked out.
The whole point behind this project was not only to tell these incredibly unique stories from these unique perspectives, but to cultivate the skills and the careers of these emerging filmmakers. So it doesn't end here for them.